Welcome to Amish Roots, plain talk in a modern world. Thank you for joining me. Have you ever excitedly anticipated an event only to have it ruined or sabotaged by rudeness? Several years ago, my husband and I decided to attend an event called Medieval Times. We had never gone before, but heard many good things about it. For those of you who are unaware of what I'm talking about, Medieval Times is a show which reenacts jousting by competitors on horseback. They perform in an indoor arena with the audience sitting in the stands circling the performance. Included in the show is a simple meal served on tin plates, which you need to eat with your fingers. No utensils, but lots of napkins. It is quite rustic, and it is meant to take you back to the medieval era. I was looking forward to our outing for weeks. We bought our tickets in advance and drove 2 hours to reach our destination for the show. Not sure what to expect, we were surprised to discover that the place was packed. The ticket master explained that our tickets were color coded, so we needed to find our seats by going to the section of the arena that matched our ticket color. Settling in, I was taking in my surroundings when an MC began to explain the procedures for the evening. Before the performance, we would be served our food, and while we ate, the show would commence. They explained that each colored section was supposed to cheer for the horse and rider bearing our color. We were encouraged to cheer loudly for our competitor. We were also told that the other riders were the enemy and therefore should be booed and heckled every time they rode by. As a participant of this performance, I took my job quite seriously, in a fun sort of way. As luck would have it, my husband and I scored seats that were in the front row of the action. First, I was a little shy about vocally sharing my enthusiasm. But when others on our team did not hold back, I too began getting into the action, lustily cheering our green rider while gently booing the other horsemen. By the time I had finished eating, I was definitely getting into the spirit of the show, much to my husband's amusement. Each time a rider that was not wearing green rode by, I would cup my hands around my mouth and boo heartily, just as I had been told to do. The riders, of course, were prepared for this, so generally they either ignored us or pumped their fists at us in defiance. It was all part of the experience. What I was not prepared for was what happened about halfway through the show. The rider wearing red had circled in front of us several times with our section always heckling him, same as the others. But I had noticed that he had glared menacingly at me a couple of times. Well, thinking it was all part of his act, I leaned forward, booing loudly as he passed by. The next time around, I saw him coming and started taunting him as he approached. As he rode up, he looked right at me and yelled, F off! Yep, he said the full words. I was in complete shock. I looked at my husband, and he looked back at me in shock. I glanced to my left at the young couple beside us, and judging from their open mouths, I knew they had heard it as well. I couldn't believe it. This could not be part of the show, could it? There are children here. Surely this type of behavior is forbidden. I sat back for a while, wondering how me simply booing had caused this reaction. Then I got a little mad. How is it that one performer could ruin my night of excitement and enjoyment by uttering such vulgarity? I was, after all, only participating as all the other audience members were. The rest of the evening was a bit of a downer for me, but I used my disappointment to proceed to boo only that rider after the incident. But the damage had been done. I no longer wanted to be there. In the days after our trip to medieval times, I pondered what had happened, still a little upset about how it all went down. I finally called the venue and filed a complaint. Their response was underwhelming, to say the least. At first, they apologized, but when I pushed them about never allowing that rider to perform in what was supposed to be a family friendly event, they told me that it was impossible for them to know who did it. So I explained the night that we were there and which horse he was riding. But they said there was nothing they could do. There were no offers of compensation and no further apologies. And I never asked for anything, but I was hoping they would be more considerate of how it had ruined my enjoyment that night. In hindsight, my only conclusion is this boorish, rude behavior must be how things were handled back in medieval times. Therefore, I should accept and tolerate it. Ach, die Liebe. Mach's gut. And we'll see you next time, May 14th, on Amish Roots.